if you don't know what's happening in Flint, Michigan, they have a Republican governor and Republican governance. And was Flint put into receivership, Jordan? Did you know? You know what I'm talking about, where they appoint a manager and get rid of the mayor? Did that happen in Flint?
Oh yeah, yeah. You mean the unelected dictator of the emergency manager,
Yeah. So go
which
ahead
is
and
now happening in Detroit as well.
yeah. So go ahead and tell people what that is and what happened because of it.
So essentially, Republican policy and Democrat policy screwed cities like Flint. Flint used to be a hub for the auto plants. GM was originally here. So, because of neoliberalism, Republican policy, sexual favors to the banks, and all that, shocker, the city was in serious financial debt. So Rick Snyder, the governor, decided I'm going to bring in an emergency manager. It's not an elected position, and the emergency manager reports to the governor. Well, the emergency manager came up with the brilliant idea that we should get off of Detroit's water. Flint was the biggest customer for Detroit's water for years. Clean water, never a problem, and but the prices were too high. To get off of Detroit's water, they were going to create a privatized water pipeline, but that was going to take a while to go into practice. So the in-between step was the switching from Detroit's water to the Flint River water. Well, the Flint River water, for those of you on the East Coast, is the equivalent of the Hudson River. It's toxic. GM and all the plants dumped all their toxic parts in the river. The emergency manager decided we're going to switch to Flint River water, and they forgot that minor detail of putting carbon filters and anti-corrosive measures in. And we all know what happened after that: lead poisoning. And what I'm learning this week is it's not just lead. There's also a bacteria issue that the media is not covering.
I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but I think it's
I love
alarming.
when Steve says, "I don't want to start as an alarmist."
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is the continuous, continuous march towards a society that's bifurcated. So we have a two-tier criminal justice system. We all know that. The rich have it better than the poor on everything. For a long time, we thought maybe for air and water, we all have the same air and water, but that's going to change too. So what's going to happen is, sadly, water will be privatized, one of our most precious resources. So if you're poor, you're going to get just the worst water, and if you're rich, you get the good water, and that's going to become the norm. So in city after city across America, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it'll all become privatized, and you pay for what you get. So if you're rich, you will get the damn good water that you can bathe in safely. If you're poor, you have to cross your fingers and hope that your kids don't get bacterial infections and lead poisoning from the water that they drink and bathe in. That's the kind of society that we're headed towards, a totally dystopian, bifurcated America like the Hunger Games, where the haves and the have-nots have become completely different. So, I mean, I see it everywhere. You know, as a child, I used to live in Virginia. We used to go to Six Flags Great Adventure, or not Great Adventure. That was in Jersey. Anyway, we used to go to Six Flags, and we just wait in line together, everyone. But now the rich people have their special passes.
Yes.
They go to the very front. There's no mixing of the rich and poor, and that's really sad, because maybe if you're standing in line for an hour together for a roller coaster, a poor kid and a rich kid can find some commonality and share some moment where they would have empathy for one another. But that never happens anymore. Now, I took my daughter to Six Flags here in California last year, and there's like a fast pass, a special fast pass, and like a platinum level fast pass, and a fast pass where you can go to the very front and never get off the ride. You can just ride it repeatedly, while poor people have to wait forever now. So that's a small example, which is, I don't really care about that much, but it's an example of how we're going. And we will get to a point when even water and probably air will become privatized, and the rich will have it and the poor won't. And it is pathetic that this is happening in America.